Hola y bienvenidos. Welcome to Mole Mama Cooking with Love. We drive connection, unity, acceptance, and love across all cultures and generations. I want to be very clear that all are welcome and we are delighted and grateful to have you listening. You're about to join us for our weekly adventure where we chat with entrepreneurs, chefs, foodies, artists, and nutritionists who are helping us to connect and learn. We'd love for you to visit our YouTube channel where you can learn to make delicious guacamole, chimichangas, molcajetes de queso y chorizo fundido, crunchy tacos, enchiladas, flour tortillas, and so much more. Private message us with any questions. If you need help, we'd love to help you make these recipes successful. And please subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review. We'd love to hear from you. Together, we can do great things from Mother Teresa. And I'm about to introduce you to an amazing woman that has done some amazingly great things here in our lovely town of Carlsbad, California, which is just north of downtown San Diego. So let me tell you a little bit about her. She is the founder of Carlsbad Food Tours. Cherimarie Poulos is here with me in my little studio, and I'm going to be talking to her all about her amazing tours that I actually got to go and participate in recently, and it was really, really fun. So fun, and I ate too much, but I walked a lot, so I didn't feel entirely super guilty, but it was a delightful experience. Cherie was born and raised in California. She's lived in San Diego for over 20 years, and her children were born in the area. She has a strong connection to Carlsbad. In fact, one of her daughters was Miss Carlsbad 2005, so she voted herself to be Mrs. Carlsbad. I love that. Now, the chief foodie and founder of Carlsbad Food Tours, she loves Carlsbad and is happy to share her knowledge about the local history and the great eateries in Carlsbad Village. Cherie was also a registered nurse for over 30 years and loves to teach others about how to live a healthy lifestyle, which includes walking, eating healthy foods, small frequent meals, and socialization, all of which are in her tour. She won the Women-Owned Small Business Award in 2017 from the Carlsbad Chamber of Commerce, and she also won the Certificate of Excellence from TripAdvisor in 2017. She has amazing reviews on TripAdvisor, so check that out. And her favorite food is chocolate. I knew I liked you immediately. I so feel you. Her favorite drink is coffee. Favorite food quote, first we eat, then we do everything else. MFK Fisher. I love that. So with that, welcome, Cherie. It's so nice to have you here. So can you tell our listeners a little bit about Carlsbad Food Tours? What is it?
Yes, Carlsbad Food Tours is a 3-hour guided walking tour around the village, and we go to 8 different restaurants. We do food tastings, we do wine tasting, we talk about the history of town, the culture, and the architecture. So we do a lot in those 3 hours.
And do you have just one type of tour? Do you have different types of tours?
Yes, we have multiple tours right now. We have so many new restaurants in Carlsbad that last year I had started my original tour in 2014. And last year I added an additional tour and I called it my Indulgence Tour. And that's where we go to a lot of the new restaurants in town. So we go to Cicciotti's, we go to Park 101, Barrel Republic, the Goods Donuts. So when I was describing the tour to people, I had first had called it, and I had a different name, La Cucina Nova, which is the new kitchen.
Right.
And obviously nobody understood what that was. So I kept describing it to people, and they said, that sounds more like the Indulgence Tour. And I'm like, you're right, because we have donuts, beer, all the creamy stuff. So it is very good, though.
How fun. So I haven't done that one. I have to do that one because I've done the other one.
Yes.
So how did you come up with this idea for this business? Because you were a nurse for 30 years.
Huh? Right. So yeah, I was a nurse. I worked, I specialized in cardiac surgery. So a lot of life and death, kind of high stress job. And I was getting ready to retire. And I thought, you know what, I want to do something fun, different, completely different than what I was doing. And I happened to go on one of these in Carmel, California. And I'm walking around and I'm like, now that's the job for me. I mean, who doesn't like it? You know, you walk around town, meeting new people, telling them about your town, and you're eating good food and drinking wine and just having a good time. And so I thought, you know what? We have a village in Carlsbad, just like Carmel does. I mean, so I came back and I checked it out, and I'm like, there's no food tour here. So I'm like, okay, I got to jump on this. And I was actually still a nurse at that time, but I said, you know, I better go with this idea before someone else gets it, right? So I ended up calling Carmel and I talked to Stacy and I said, you know, Stacy, I want to start this business. What do you suggest? And she says, you need to go to Chicago. And I'm like, what? And she says, there's a guy in Chicago. His name is Shane Coast, and he teaches a class called Food Tour Pros. So he teaches you how to set up your food tours. So I'm like, okay, that sounds good to me. You know, why not hear it from the expert instead of trying to figure it out on your own, right? So my husband and I flew there one winter, and it was quite interesting, Chicago in the winter. But anyway, my husband's from Chicago originally, so he was just fine with it. But I'm like, wow, the weather here, okay.
A lot different than Carlsbad.
Yeah, but the food there is excellent. You know,
food
I
is
mean, so of course you have to get the hot dogs and the pizza and, you know, all the good stuff there. But anyway, we took Shane's course and he taught us, you know, how to pick our locations, what to charge, how to talk to the vendors, because, you know, you have to, they have to understand that this is a marketing technique for them also,
Right.
because you're bringing people into their restaurant and tasting their food and telling them about the story about the restaurant. And once you do that, people have a tendency to feel more comfortable going back to it at a later date. You know, some people don't get it, so some people are worried about what the cost of the napkins and the silverware are. But those are the people that are not on the tour. But anyway, we came back and we set up the tour, and then we flew Shane out, and he did a walkthrough, and he has his little red pin here, and he's like, okay, I like this place, I don't like that place, and you're talking too much over here.
So he
And
critiqued you.
he critiqued it.
Wow.
Yeah, yes, and yeah, he's very detailed. So now I belong to a group of all the people he's taught around the world. So, and it's called the Global Food Tourism Association. And so we all get together once a year and we meet at a different location, and we have a conference, which is a great fun conference because it's a bunch of foodies that like food and wine, and we learn about social media marketing and podcast and all that stuff. And then we go back to our places and you know, use that information. We also belong online to each other, so we kind of talk to each other online and ask questions. And so it's like having experts in your field constantly available to get information from, which is great. So yeah, so it's really a lot of fun.
Wonderful. So if someone was gonna, so to find Carlsbad Tours, they just go to Carlsbad Tour or
They go to carlsbadfoodtours.com is the website name, and the different tours are inside that website as well, the Indulgence Food Tour and the Taste of Carlsbad. It is not the same as the Taste of Carlsbad, that is the once a year citywide thing. A lot of people get that mixed up, and that's why I decided to call it Carlsbad Food Tours instead of a Taste of Carlsbad, because they thought it was the year-round thing, and it's only once a year. But our tours are available 11:30 to 3 on most days, so we're open like 7 days a week these days.
That's fantastic. But if somebody was in another city, is there a website that they can go to find
different
tours that you like in this organization that the community?
Yeah, they could go
to?
Well, obviously they could go to the Global Food Tourism Association, but I also have a blog, and on my webpage at the bottom there is a blog post that says food tours around the world. And I have I'm connected with all these different food tours. We have Hong Kong, Montreal, Austin, Seattle, Chicago. So I spend a lot of my off time just going around the world and going to food tours. I'm like, okay, which one of my friends has a food tour in this town? So it's
That's
really cool.
how many have you gone to? Do you know?
Oh, I don't know, 20 something. It depends on the town. I've gone to 3 in Miami, and yeah, I've gone on some food tours that end up to be drinking tours, and that they just started their business. And I'm like, well, this is a great drinking tour, but
Well, your tour was delightful. You were
thank you.
fun. You gave us so much information. The place with the cinnamon rolls, we have been back to. I've been back at least 5 times.
I went there today, actually.
At least 5 times.
Cafe Topaz. It's my
Yeah.
favorite breakfast place in town, and they have something called crack and eggs, or actually, it's crack and Benedict's is the one I really like. It's a burgundy tri-tip from the Seaside Market in Cardiff, and it's delicious. And so I get their crack and Benedict. We have a little problem with crack in our town, but it's all food related, so it's pretty cool.
That's great. And I've been getting their avocado toast that they do with the poached egg and pesto, and then applewood bacon, I think, which is, it's so good.
Yeah. Have you been to their new place? It's called The Goods.
I have not.
It's artisanal donuts.
I have not done that yet.
It is so good too. They have Nutella. They have bruschetta. No, not bruschetta. Prosecco donuts.
Oh my goodness,
it's good. And then there's one that's called the brown butter, and it just melts in your mouth. It's so good.
So what you were saying about people feeling comfortable and coming back to your business, we have definitely done that. We've taken guests there. I don't know how many people I've told when they're like, "Where should I go for breakfast?" And I'm like, ah. And also we've gone back to the Mexican place, gone back to the amazing little garden with the antiques. I can't even...
Oh, the succulent garden.
Yeah. There's a couple things in my yard that I bought from her. So so it was a great way for us to, because we're new to the area, to just experience our community in a completely different way.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a really good thing for people new to the area too, because you don't know which restaurants to go to. And we have so many to choose from that it's like, we as local people, we tend to pick one restaurant, one food, and we go back to it over and over again because we're not sure we want to try anything else, and we're not comfortable, So this allows you to have like 8 different new favorite places to go to, because I mean, there's something about hearing the stories and eating the food at the same time that you feel a little bit more connected to the place and the people that were there when you hear what they went through to get their restaurant going and such. So yeah, it's good.
Well, and I love that it's, for the most part, it was all mom and pops or small businesses. So it wasn't a chain. So there was a great story about every place that we went to. So it was wonderful.
Well, that was all on purpose, obviously. That was one of the training things was that you pick locations that represent your town and have really good food, have history, and are small businesses. And Carlsbad has a lot of small businesses that don't duplicate in a different city, because you want to represent your town. You don't want to represent Encinitas or some other town. This is what Carlsbad is all about.
Right. And the speakeasy. Can you tell our listeners, because this thing was a find, and I don't know, I think we've been more than 5 times there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because we have a lot of guests.
It's a secret.
I know, but we have to tell.
My kids used to say, "Mom, don't tell all your people about the secret speakeasy." They thought it was their only spot,
Oh, it's fantastic. Well, we've had a lot of visitors because we're in a new place, so we've had family and friends, and it's the go-to place. We've been taking everyone. And we've turned on several of our neighbors to it, because guy across the street from us has been here for 20 years, never knew about it.
I know. I get quite a few locals on the tour, and they don't know the history of the town. And so they're like, "Really? We have miracle water here? I had no idea."
Okay, so but you have to share about the speakeasy, because it is the coolest thing.
So basically, I'm sure people have probably seen the large blue building that's downtown. It's a Queen Victorian style building, and that was called the Twin Inns in back in the time. And the Twin Inns actually, during Prohibition, there was a chicken restaurant in there, and that they had So chicken, mashed potatoes, biscuits. And then on the back side of the building, there was a button the moonshiners could deliver whatever's necessary. So it was a very popular restaurant. And in fact, it was a speakeasy then, and it is a speakeasy now. Now, the only way you can get into this speakeasy is to go on Instagram. Believe it or not, you have to go on Instagram and you have to put in Speakeasy Carlsbad, and you come up with Captain Kenneth Charles Roos, which happens to be the grandfather's name of Chef Roos, who owns the Land and Water Company that's situated in that building. And he redid the speakeasy recently, and he named it after his grandfather. And so then once you get the code, because they change it every day, so you better make sure you get the accurate code. Mm-hmm. Go to the back door of the place that looks like the janitor's closet. And knock on the door, give them the code, and they'll let you in. And it's like an old velvet, old-fashioned looking place. And it's pretty nice. But it is a true speakeasy then and now. So it's in our history.
So I can't thank you enough for turning us on to that, because our friends that have visited and our neighbors think we're so cool because we knew about this place.
You are.
Because we found this place for them. But they also give you a tour, which is so nice. When you go in, you get escorted in and shown the pictures and hear some of the stories that we just shared. And then we hear about the ghost story. And I guess it's been on some ghost show, and I can't remember right now. But I guess there's been ghost sightings there.
Yes. A lady and her daughter live on the second floor. And I can't tell you for certain if there's ghosts there, but weird things have happened since I've been doing the tour. And so I'm like, one day I was doing an evening tour, and I was telling the people, that it's possibly haunted. And they said, there's something in the window up there. And I'm like, look, I'm telling the stories around here. And they said, no, really, there's something in the window. And I could tell you, it was not a mannequin. I had never seen it before, and I had not seen it since. However, that night, there was an hourglass figure in the window. I just wish I would have got a picture. Although ghosts don't show up in pictures, right? So forget it.
With our new cameras, But I think if our listeners Google the name of the place with ghosts, because there's actually a TV episode and I can't remember the name of it, but that they actually did on the whole thing. So, and when you go in there, it's really small, and I think it only holds like 45 or people or so. Mm-hmm. But the bar is gorgeous. It is beautiful, and I'm not much of a drinker, but I'm always
really nice cocktails.
Yes, I'm the designated driver, or always, and but I've sampled a bunch of how to sip here and there, so they're very nice cocktails.
Yeah.
Very
cocktails.
Nice.
Carlsbad is getting a name for really good cocktails. Another good place in town is called Campfire, and they have excellent cocktails there as well. And Campfire actually cooks all of their foods over a campfire. So it's kind of a smoked taste for their foods. There's just so many new restaurants to go to these days in Carlsbad. Joie Jolie, The Young and the Beautiful, and that's a new French restaurant in town. Of course, we have our tried and true Caldo Pomodoro, which is excellent.
I was just going to ask you about
Italian,
that.
and
so good.
And their marinara is made from scratch, and they cook it for from 6 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock at night, and their famous garlic bread.
It was amazing. It was a really great place. My husband's been back there twice.
Yeah,
since then. So see, you generate all kinds of business just with the two of us.
I see that.
So we'll give you testimonials for the businesses that you're supporting. So you talked about you have tours every single day. Mm-hmm. So how many tours? Because it's not just you. You have somebody else.
Yeah, I have another tour guide right now, David, and he happens to be like a history buff. So he's very into the history of Carlsbad. He does history tours as well, and so it's quite interesting to have the history and the food together. Makes a good combination.
So is it one a day or twice a day?
It's one a day right now, except for we do private tours in the evenings if you have a company and you want to have a company party. I mean, we've had Legoland, we've had the zoo people, all these different locations that like to have fun. And it's a good way to take people out without having to do all the work behind it. So we take them to the restaurants, we lead them along, and it's like a walking party around the village.
Very fun.
Yeah, it's a good
Very.
Christmas, birthday, anniversary type celebrations.
We loved ours. Okay, so they run you around. Do you take any days off? Do you take holidays off? You must.
Oh, I take off. I take off. Somebody's got to work though. But yeah, I mean, we obviously are not open on Christmas
Right.
and the major holidays, but in general, I think we've got it covered pretty well.
Okay. And so how do our listeners go and sign up for a tour?
Just go on my website at carlsbadfoodtours.com. That's tours with an S.com. And you should be able to pick your tour.
That's awesome. Okay. And now I'm going to get into some of the fun questions I have for you.
Okay.
So how many miles do you think you walk in a week doing this job of yours?
Let's say I take credit for at least 2 to 2.5 miles a day.
Okay.
So that's probably where we're at in general. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good.
And when you're not working, do you cook, or you're done with food when you're not
Actually,
working?
I don't cook a lot because, especially on a day that there's a tour, because I've been eating off and on, through the tour. So I'm like not that hungry when I get home. On the days that I'm not on the tour, I love to eat good food. So yeah, I'll cook on those days.
Do you have any favorites that you like to cook? Any type of food, or?
I like everything.
Okay. And then you talked a little bit about this at the beginning, but how do you select these businesses to be in your tour?
Well, I have to do research, obviously, and so I
Right.
have to go to all the restaurants, which I tell my husband, I'm sorry, honey, I have to go to a new restaurant.
Oh my.
It's research, okay? I don't know what your problem is. So we have to check out the restaurants, obviously, and taste the food, hear the story, and then, when I first started it, I just, I picked all my favorite ones, and we want it to be not too much of a duplication. We don't want all Italian, all Mexican, so we have a little of each. So we have to have some dessert. And so it's kind of a mix and match type thing.
Okay. And so you just call them, do you let them know that you're coming, or do you go incognito at the beginning?
Oh, no. No, there's no incognito. No.
Just check it out.
They are notified in the morning. Some of them I text the people the information, and some I actually call because whoever is working is different every time. So, but everyone is notified in the morning. We have a tour. We have so many people coming. They know what to expect. They get the stuff ready. We walk in. Everything should be ready to go.
Okay.
That's what we
Oh,
expect.
I'm sorry. I meant incognito when you're checking them out to see if you want to include them. So,
checking them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes.
You do. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes before. Yeah, I don't want to sign somebody up if I don't feel like it's a good fit.
Okay. That's what I thought. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And since you've become a food tour guide and a business owner after working as a nurse for so many years, what's been the biggest surprise about owning your own business and this business that you have?
Well, it's more exciting.
Is it?
I mean, yes, I'd say I found out that I was more of a introvert extrovert, I guess you'd say. Introvert in that I get some energy from people, but I also get tired, so I have to take a nap after the tour. Because you're like almost like on stage the whole time. You're talking, you're animated. You cannot go to the tour in a bad mood. Because people want to have fun while they're on vacation or they're on these, so you want to present. It's more. I wouldn't say it's more rewarding because nursing obviously had its rewarding parts in that you're giving back all the time to people. But I feel like I'm kind of doing nursing in a different way because I do a lot of health teaching as well during the tour. So I talk about, what are the benefits of the tour? There are health benefits for even going on the tour. We have a lot of foods that we eat that have antioxidants in them. I mean, we're going to go to the olive oil place, and the olive oil has biophenols, which are antioxidants. We have dark chocolate, antioxidants, red wine. And so we talk about these things and that fact that we're going to be drinking alkaline water and, and then the walking, like you said, the walking, the socialization, the small frequent meals. I mean, that right there is a healthy decision.
Right.
So I like to throw that stuff out because even though I'm not in nursing, once a nurse, always a nurse. And so
Right.
you want to promote wellness in a different way. So that's what I feel like I can still do.
That's beautiful. And have you had any challenges? What are some of the challenges you've had?
Challenges. I've had some people on the tour that couldn't walk very well, and so we would have to either slow down or, and what you want to make sure everybody's okay on it. I've had somebody that just had like um, atrial fibrillation and it was in the hospital, and then they were walking. They're like, my heart rate. So we just are very, I watch these things. I want to make sure everybody, we like to end with the same amount of people we
They
start
start
with.
Okay. All right. And, was it a big step for you to go from working for somebody else for so many years to owning your own business? Is that
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really think a lot about it before I jumped into
good?
it.
Yeah,
And of course, my husband owns his own business, so I had him to talk to about all
that's
the
nice.
different things and how to promote. And he was in marketing for 20 years, so it's a good person to bounce ideas. What do you think about this? No, that's a terrible idea. I call him the CEO of marketing over there. I said, did marketing improve this ad? Because, it's not that
That
good.
is super helpful.
So
That's
it's super
very, very
helpful
helpful.
to have somebody that's already been successful in their own business to kind of, he sits right next to me in the office. We don't have separate offices. He's sitting there and I'm here. And so I kind of, hey, what do you think about this idea? And throw it back and forth. So that's helpful.
That's very, very
And he
nice.
also told me right away that, okay, you have a certain amount of time that you can promote your business and get it going, but eventually you still have to make some money eventually. So I'm like, okay, so for the first year and a half, I think we went with Groupon for a while, and we didn't make too much money. Obviously, that they take out quite a bit, but so I said, okay. He says, it's time for you to fly now on your own. Your business either makes it or it doesn't. So I'm like, okay, we're going to go without Groupon now. And we did okay.
That is outstanding. That is
Yeah.
really fabulous. And I just love that you have a new career. I think it's very admirable, honestly. So yay,
It's fun to
good
reinvent
job.
yourself. I mean,
Yeah,
every day you
really.
get up, you can be something new if you want to. And I try to tell my kids, I mean, it's like, whatever you want to be in life, if you work hard enough and you just you decide you're going to be an artist and you just start calling yourself an artist and start doing art. So that's my concept in life, in general. And that's how I got these different parts of me going on. It's like, okay, I'm an artist today. Tomorrow I'm going to be a food tour operator. And, you just be whatever you want to be and just go for it.
That's beautiful. Because my next question was I was going to ask you if you had anything else that you wanted to share with our listeners about if they're considering opening their own business or.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. I mean, it is a retirement job, so I'm not stressing about, making a million. I mean, obviously I worked for the government for 34 years and I have a good government pension, so that allows me a little bit
Right.
of freedom to do what I want to do. But the other part of retirement is, I don't want to sit at home and do nothing. I mean, I want to still be an active member in society and giving back where I can. And the food tour allows me to do that. I mean, we can give charity tickets to all these different foundations, and it just allows me to support the community and be part of something that's bigger than myself. And, it's a good reason to get up every morning and do something.
Yeah, it's a like I said, it was really fun for us. And I also thought that it was interesting on our tour. It was about half locals and half people that were visiting Carlsbad.
That's actually about the right
Is that,
measure.
I was going
Yeah,
to
it's
ask you
half
that.
locals and half visitors. And what I find is the locals, like I had a couple locals on today that have been on the tour several times, and they brought new friends. So it's kind of like a built-in party for, let me show you about my town, but we're going to have her do the stories, and we're going to take you all around. So they brought one of their cousins or something, and they're like, oh, well, we'll see you the next time we have visitors in town. Okay.
Well, I think what you're doing for our community is fantastic. What you're doing for other women or men who are thinking about having a small business is also very inspiring, because we're like, yes, we could maybe do our little dream.
Actually, I've had several people that have come on the tour that have decided that they're going to do food tours. And I have one guy that actually he owns Temecula Wine Tours. DK, hey DK. Anyway, DK is started a food tour in Temecula now. So I hooked him up with the classes, and you need to get with this group and all the different things. And it was funny because one of our last meetings, I'm like, oh, there's DK. So, and there's another girl that did another food tour in some part of California here. But yeah, so it's fun to see other people step up, and you're kind of like mentoring other people to grow their business.
It's very inspiring. And I had gone on a couple of other food tours, but I have to say that yours was like so.
Of course, you have to say that.
No, I don't have to. But it was so much fun, and you're really personable, and you can tell that you're super passionate, and you love what you're doing. So that, I think, was part of the fun. And we had really good food and good wine, and it was just all delightful.
Yeah, food tours are. I mean, it's a great way to get to know a city. I mean, I usually recommend that you take a food tour at the beginning of your vacation. That way, you know where you're going to go eat the rest of the time, and also, a little backstory about the town, so you have more ownership when you're in town. It's great.
Yeah. So, is there any place that you haven't taken a food tour yet that you're like, I have to do that one? Is there anything left on your list that you're like, oh?
There's plenty. I would like to take some. I would actually like to take some food tours in Europe. Italy has got some really good food tours. There's a friend of ours that owns Eat Europe, so there's food tours all over the place. Amsterdam, yeah, I've done one food tour. It was in Panama City in Panama. Wow. And yeah, that's the one I told you it was more of a drinking tour. There are some happy hour tours out there too. There's Catalina, they have both a food tour and a happy hour tour. And yeah, you just have to be careful about that happy hour tour.
I would say.
You'll be very happy at the end of the day.
Yeah, I've done one in New Orleans.
New Orleans.
And that was really fun.
Yeah, I've done New Orleans, but what I really liked in New Orleans was their cooking school. I don't know if you've done that yet.
I did do that.
It was fantastic.
I learned how to make crawfish etouffee, and I think it was, jambalaya.
Jambalaya, gumbo, pralines or pralines as they call them, beignets. I mean, the class was fabulous. We learned how to make all those things, but of course they give you the recipe. It is not the recipe that they use. They just put a little bit of lard in, throw this in, and mix it up, and you're good to go. But it was delicious. We got to eat all the food too.
And really fun.
Yeah.
Very fun. It sounds like we might have done the same one. Similar.
Yeah, there was a lady that taught ours, and she was very bigger than life.
We had a man that was bigger than life.
They probably hired similar people.
They probably do. So this has been delightful. So for our listeners, if you're visiting Carlsbad, you have to go and check out carlsbadfoodtours.com. You can also follow her on social media, and all her links are on her website. So it's very easy to figure those out. Mm-hmm. And I highly recommend it. And our dog is snoring in the background. So that's that sound. Nobody else is here sleeping. But please check it out and follow Cherimarie. She is just a delight, and you will have a great time if you get on her tour. You just will. It'll be a great
It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Come and eat your way through Carlsbad.
Yes, please do. All right. So thank you for being here with us.
You're welcome.
So it's been a delightful for you, all of our listeners, to be here with us as well. Remember to add the most important ingredient to every recipe you make, your love. And as my mama always said to me as we said our goodbyes, que Dios te bendiga. May God bless you. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Thank you for tuning in to Mole Mama Cooking with Love.